Live, my friends. We are live edition of the Siteman Softball Podcast here. Coming on, let's make sure everything, we're using new software called Restream that we used last week, and we had to do it a couple takes. We had to do first take, the audio was a little sketch. This take, we should be good. So let me know if I can hear you. Type it in the comment section. It'll show up on the screen here. Let me know if I can hear you. If you can hear me, if I can hear you, we messed up. If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know how the audio is sounding here today. We are going to start the show here briefly. All right, got yeses. Awesome. Lots to talk about. And by the way, fun fact, we are live in a lot of different places right now. So regardless of where you are, if you're on the internet and you're paying attention to slow pitch softball content today, as we record this on Wednesday, October 11th, you're probably running into us. So on Facebook at facebook.com/David Garland, also Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook. We are on YouTube, by the way, getting that channel, kind of reviving that, going to be doing some more stuff with the YouTube channel. You could check that out on YouTube. Just search for Siteman Softball on YouTube. I think it's sitemanssoftball.com/YouTube. Let me check on that real quick. It should be. Let's see. We'll check that later. We're also on Twitch. So Siteman Softball on Twitch just got on there. So variety of different places that you can catch the show, besides, of course, all the audio content that you can get at sitemanssoftball.com/podcast, Spotify, all that kind of good stuff. So here we go. Lots to discuss today. First of all, I want to, let me just make sure I can see the comments here from everybody. Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Happy anniversary. Awesome. Now, if you'll notice on the comments here, and there's not a perfect way to do this, so we're just doing our best with it, is that if you're in the Facebook group and you're making a comment, it comes up just as Facebook user. If you're on my Facebook page, facebook.com/David Garland, it comes up as your name. So you can see, for example, if you're watching the stream right now, you can see Brandon where he says happy anniversary, and Dennis gives us the watching eyes. But some of the other folks, I know who they are, but I can't really see their name because it says Facebook user. But we'll get that sorted out. That's kind of a quirk of Facebook if you're commenting from a Facebook group, okay? Hi, Misty. Good to see you. Awesome. So we're live in a lot of different places. And, very exciting that this is episode number 52 of the Siteman Softball Podcast. So that means 52 weeks in a row, my friends. 52 weeks in a row. This is the 1-year anniversary episode. We're still going. And for me, what's up, Farhad? Good to see you, Drew. For me, for those that don't know me, I don't like to be half pregnant. I either go all in or I'm out. Really, with anything that I like to do. I don't like to half-ass anything or go 1/4 ass or 1/10 ass or 3/4 ass. I like to go full ass. And so when I was putting together this podcast, and it was kind of in concept for a while during the 2021 season, I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to do it, we're going to commit to it and we're going to get it done. You know what I mean? So kind of cool, 52 weeks later, and we're still live and ticking, crossing in on, I want to see 700,000 viewers, somewhere around there, which is pretty awesome. We'll have some more data on that soon, but very exciting. So I appreciate everyone that's been tuning in. And what I'm trying to do is just, again, make it more accessible. Not only the sport, making the podcast itself more accessible. Make sure you guys can watch from wherever you're at, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We'll eventually be on Instagram as well, at Siteman Softballs on Instagram, but we're going to have more on that as well. Let's talk about a couple of sponsorship-related things. And by the way, plenty of time today if you guys have some questions. What's up, Daniel Larson? Ian Castle, that's pretty funny. If you guys have some questions, we're going to get to it. I had some good ones in my private messages. Some people asking about tips for getting sponsors for slow pitch softball. So I want to make sure I don't forget that in my notes here today. I'm gonna give some thoughts on that. Might not be exactly what you want to hear, but I'm going to give you some thoughts on sponsorships for if you're looking for some for your team. But let's start with this. First of all, big thanks to Pure. for their sponsorship here last year. And we're going to be swinging Pure in 2023 as well. It's been great working with Chris and the team. This is the last chance. If you want to get the pink gear, get the pink gear. I'm not wearing the pink gear. This is if I was wearing it. I guess I'd be touching it like this. All right. So the pink gear, puresportstech.com/pure for the cure. Enter the promo code Siteman, get a few bucks off of your order. You've got the pink gear. You've got the pink bats. 20% of all apparel sales go directly to breast cancer research at the Siteman Cancer Center. And we're shooting this on October 11th. And this is through the end of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October. So you have until Halloweeny to get your pink stuff. So get your shirts, get your sweatpants, get your bats, get whatever it might be. I know the campaign has been a massive success, but every single one of those is going towards something good as well. So not only will you look fly, not only will you look bright, and people, will say, hey, you look bright out there, but you're helping a good cause as well. So we appreciate them. Also, exciting news as we roll forward. I was just talking with them this morning, is that next year we're going to be integrating again much more with the Siteman Cancer Center. We're talking to the executive team there this morning, and they're very happy about what we do in our partnership and things like that. So, you're going to have some more content from them coming as well. We're going to have, we'll keep a variety of things in our pocket for that coming up. One thing that's kind of interesting, and you might see some of this content on the show in the future, is that they have some, at the Siteman Cancer Center, some new audio and media clips that they're using with Yadier Molina. Actually, it's more video of him, and they're doing this whole thing like kind of get checked on with cancer, and there's Yadier Molina. It's pretty cool. So you might see me some stuff like that coming up on the show. We might have some audio clips, some video clips, some other cool things, driving some cancer awareness. As long as we're doing softball, may as well do some good stuff as well. So we're gonna not that softball's bad. I'm just saying that may as well do some cool stuff, help some things out as well. So we'll work on that. And also next year, something I'd like to do, I'm still working on this kind of behind the scenes. We've got a ton of requests. Hi, Karina. Good to see you. We just talked about Pure for the Cure, Karina. I've got a ton of requests behind the scenes here for people that want, a Siteman softball jersey or hat or apparel or something like that. I'd love to work on an apparel line for next year where you can just kind of order online, and we'll have a percentage go towards cancer research. We'll work on all that kind of stuff a little bit in the off season. The crazy thing about slow pitch, the off season barely exists if it does at all. I mean, the bodies aren't even warm from the world tournaments from be on up, and we're already talking about next year. It's crazy how that works. Like literally the clock hits midnight, the champagne's not even dry yet on and we're already talking about next year, because it's a weird sport at the conference level where we're not talking about 5-6 year contracts or anything like that. It's really year to year, and teams change, teams go in, teams go out. There's a lot that changes. So I'll talk a bit here about Siteman's plans for next year. And also, I talked about this on the Hit and Sit Rumor Show yesterday, but I can expand on a few things going on here for next year. And also, a fun fact, one more Pure commentary that I want to note on that. Pure commentary is the ASA bat. I have got a chance to swing the Hellfire, and the new 12-inch barrel is coming out as well. So there's a 13 and a 12 ASA bat. Okay, and it's interesting. I'll have actually I got another one coming. I'll be sure to show you guys on the podcast. But I told Chris and I told the whole team at Pure, I was like, listen, you're a sponsor, supporter, obviously, of Siteman softball. We swing Pure. Please make a good bat. Like, please make it. Don't make me go on here. Not make me. But if I didn't like the bat, I'd come on here. I'd have to. I'm just saying, I don't say have to. I do this by choice, right? But I'd come on here if I didn't like the bat and have to do something like, well, it's a bat, and, you can hit with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd come on here and I'd say something, but I said, I hope to Lord that Chris makes a very, very good ASA bat, because a lot of manufacturers have tried to hop into that ASA race and don't get in there very well, right? Doesn't work out. The technology's different. The ball's different. The market's different. There's a lot of factors in ASA. So I was just sitting here hoping and praying that the ASA bat would be good. I was very nervous about it because I'm thinking to myself, well, I hope it is. And first of all, here's what you have to know. Pure does a ton of research and engineering on these bats. This isn't something just slapped together. It's not something from, whatever. There's a ton of engineering and pride that goes into this, a lot of money that goes into this. And so Chris never wants to put out something, he's learned over 7+ years to put out something without just knowing it's going to be the best. And there's a lot of testing and things on that. And I can say without a doubt, the ASA bat is absolutely nasty. And I took it out there and I took it out there on the field and I wanted to compare the strongest apples to it that I possibly could. I'll get more footage of this soon, but I wanted to say, I don't want to compare it against a bad ASA bat or a medium ASA bat or a pretty good ASA bat. I want to compare it against some of the best ASA bats. So I brought out my 2 monsters, including a Sinister. And then I have another monster. It's a DNA mutated, which is a little bit of a less popular bat from Monster, but it has got thousands of swings on it, and it is flaming hot, right? So I took them out there, compared it on the field, actually hit this last week, and here's what I have to say. The Pure bat, and we're talking the Pure bat has, when I got it, maybe 150 swings on it, something like that, 125 swings. I'm not sure exactly, but it was not only as good, but I would dare say, I know this is such a risky thing to say in the ASA world, but I think it's better than the Monster. At the bare minimum, it's as good. If you go there from there, I think it's better. And I'm looking forward to swinging both the 12 and the 13-inch. I'll give more thoughts on that as well. But I can tell you, that's the bat to swing. I am excited about that. I'm excited that they're going into the ASA market. So I just want to kind of note that. And, they don't tell me to come on the show and talk about Pure bats or anything like that. I do this by choice. They take great care of us as a team, and I enjoy talking about high quality products from a great company. So just want to give a shout on that. If you're curious about the Pure ASA bat, give it a try. That's all I'm going to say about that. And you can enter promo code Siteman at checkout, get a discount as well. All right, let's talk 2023. We could talk Major World Series as well. We'll talk maybe some sponsorships. We'll talk about some different things as well. Yes, you're right. It is. Brandon Keene is pointing out that I will take the logo off the screen here, Brandon. Watch this magic so that you can read the top comment. Okay, watch this. Here we go. I'm going to probably delete the entire podcast by accident, but hopefully we don't. Ready? I'm just going to click the button. Magic. Is that better? Let me know if we're good. As long as Brandon Keene can see, we're happy people here, right? Okay, there we go. So that should be good. Everyone should be able to see the comments and things like that as well. So right now is kind of an interesting situation because let's talk about 2023. There's some things we don't know yet about 2023, right? What do we not know about 2023? We don't know about number one, any changes to conference, right? Like there's going to be more events this year. There's going to be more events required this year. That's all great things to me. There's going to be more duels. I'm happy with that as well. I have no idea what the schedule is yet because that obviously hasn't been announced, or tournaments coming back, or tournaments, going away. Is there a case, for example, is Texas Legends, is that going to be a duel now? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? So we don't know about, number one, the schedule for next year, right? We don't know about that. We're not going to know about that for a while. Number two, we don't know a ton about, any kind of rule changes that might affect a team, right? We don't know. I doubt there's going to be anything drastic, but, is the point system different? Is the roster requirements different? Is this different? Is that different? We don't 100% know that either, right? Obviously, we'll know that soon, but there's some variables, of course, going into next season. And there's a lot of Brandons on the show right now. Yes, in the comments. I see Keens, I see Millers, I see all kinds of people in there. So we're strong. We're strong with the Brandon in the comments. First of all, I had to think about this because, I had to think about next year's plan. And there was 3 routes to go for next year, in my opinion, for us, Siteman softball, right? Number one route is say, boy, that was a fun year. Yippee, hooray, we're done, right? So that's it, done. off into the sunset. Yippee, right? That was number one, right? That was an option. Option number two was to kind of do an upgraded repeat of last year. So this year, 2022, and meaning that let's play B, let's improve in a few areas, try to go for B worlds, try to go for A worlds, that kind of thing. That's option number two, right? Option number three, Farhad is saying go major. I guess that's an option. We're going to skip right over that option. Option number three is to say, okay, listen, let's step up our game here and let's go to A, right? Let's go to A, which allow us some more roster flexibility, be able to bring in, take the core of our team and be bringing in some kind of key pieces to elevate it, right? And really try to make a run at an A world title and qualify for the major, right? So sitting behind the scenes here, this was a decision that, I really had to think about because, there's a lot of factors in it. Obviously family time, things like that. I said, do I want to do this? Because like I said, am I going all in or not at all, right? It was all in or nothing. And, I really thought about this, talked to my wife, talked to my family about it. And, another thing that I don't know if you guys know this or don't know this, but, you probably know this, but I'm the sponsor of the team. So I'm solely responsible for all, the financial and things for the team, which I love doing. I'm happy to do it. But obviously it's a big commitment every year. And I'm one of those people, I don't like bringing in partners because I don't like it. I don't want to do it. So roll solo. That's how we do it. From a team perspective. So taking all these things into consideration, we are going Conference A next year and going all in for this. So Siteman, Conference A next year, USSSA, with the goals, got to set big lofty goals, right? With the goals of winning ourselves an A World Championship, qualifying and playing in the Major World Series. Okay? Big goals. A lot to say right after the season just ended, right? So there's a lot of things to consider in this. Now, the next question you're thinking is, well, who the heck's on the team? Right? Who's on the team? Right? Who are we bringing in? Who's bringing out? Whatever. Here's what I have to say about that. You're not going to get me to say anything about it on the show because here's why. Our coach, general manager, and, general degenerate Matt Petrov is in Hawaii enjoying a lovely trip. I think he's going to a volcano tonight. He might make it out. He might not. We don't know. He's going to be returning. We've been talking, but when he gets back from the trip, we have kind of a two-part plan that we're going, two-part plan going into. Number one, we're going to be having actual individual conversations with our players from this year. So meaning we're going to be talking about who we'd like to retain, who we won't. There'll be some changes, and we're going to individually talk to our players about that. And we already kind of have a scope a little bit about that, some thoughts, but we're going to actually solidify those, get that on the dotted line here in the next, week or so once Matt gets back, because we like to do that as a group. Then we've got some new people that we're looking at right now. I just can't say too much on it because I don't even want to say what positions or what we're doing or who we're not and what we're doing, what blah, 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 blah. Can't do it, right? This is the chaos of softball right now. If you listen to that rumor show yesterday on the Hit and Sit podcast that I was hosting, it was freaking chaos, right? Like there'd be a rumor like this team's coming back. And then 5 seconds later, they're definitely not coming back. Actually, they are coming back, but they're coming back as major. And then actually, no, they're definitely not coming back. So things change here fast, right? So I do have to say we've gotten some recommendations from some higher up teams about certain players, certain things. We're going to be adding some pieces because we're really going to go all in this year for this. We're going to go for it. So, I want to build a team that is extremely competitive, meaning like are ready to go here and are hungry, right? Our team was like that this year. Every single guy on that team was very competitive, very hungry, and we're going to take that to the next level. And, we're always looking for high character guys. I think we want to bring in a little bit more veteran leadership as well this year. So there were a few things that we're going to be able to upgrade. We might actually, bring in even some more help on the coaching staff. There's a lot of different options on there. I'm only going to tell you guys the stuff on the show when it's 100% done and in writing and finished, right? We're not going to sit here and be like, well, we're looking at this player, that player, this player. We don't want to do any of that because that's not fair for anyone, and we don't want to be like that. But we have some plans, and we have some good recommendations on it, we're going to go from there. So the conclusion of this long-winded response to this, Siteman will be back in 2023. We will be a Conference A team. We will be massively upgrading just everything about the organization. We want to keep going. We want to give the guys a great experience as well. And I think that's a key thing that's important to me as a brand, as a sponsor, as a coach. I mean, the Siteman brand, but I'm saying like myself as a sponsor and on the team, we want to give these guys a first-class experience too. That's something that's very important to me. I don't like to, I don't want to be wasteful, but I don't like to nickel and dime on things as well. For example, just to give you a scope of that, we kind of have some guidelines about when people should fly, when people should drive. If people fly, obviously we're paying for it. If they drive, we reimburse gas. There's things like that, but also things like hotels. We want to stay in a nice hotel. We want to make sure we like getting 2 guys in a room because this isn't, Pee Wee hockey in 1997. Like to kind of extend that, but just doing little things that we try to make sure that the guys, we try to take as many things off the table that the guys have to worry about so they can just worry about being a great teammate and performing. Take everything else off the table so they don't have to worry about it, and then they can just focus on that. And so we're going to be elevating that even more next year and excited about that going into next year. Misty's saying, and the traveling team photographer and videographer, hey, Misty did a great job this year. I think we've got 75,000 photos from you, Misty. So I still have to go through a lot of them, but did an awesome job. I look forward to that next year. So that is the 2023 Siteman. Talk a little bit about the major. We'll talk some sponsorships as well. I see some people asking some good questions about numbers and finances and things like that. And I'll maybe be able to shed a little bit of light on that here coming up. First of all, let's talk. Like I said, the bodies aren't even cold yet, but the major World Series, folks, this past week was insane. I was glued to it. I'm a junkie. I'm a weirdo. I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm late at night. Marcy's like, what are you doing? Are you watching softball again? I'm like, yes. Why is it on the big screen? Well, it's easier to see, So really got to take in the major from afar. I was asked to do play-by-play this year for the major, but it just didn't work out this year because of scheduling. There was a big Jewish holiday in there. Just the way things worked wasn't going to work. Next year, probably, fingers crossed, we're going to be playing in the major. Fingers crossed, playing in the major. Put the work in. But I'll definitely plan on doing some play-by-play next year at the major. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, assuming that they want me to do some of that next year, which will be a blast. So we're going to talk about it. Unbelievable. MPT Rentals, taking it home. I don't want to brag on my predictions, but I got 3 out of 4 of the upper softball predictions right. The one I missed was us in B. I picked Siteman Pure to win B. Congratulations to True, who won in B. I had Anarchy winning A, which they did. Competitive Edge winning AA. MPT Rentals winning Major. Now, a lot of teams could have won Major. A lot of teams could have won A. I think Competitive Edge was a class above in AA this year. Obviously, anything could have happened, right? Got to go out there and play the games. But I looked at teams that I felt like were going this way going into the tournament. And I also thought about teams that were going to be able to possibly even adjust better depending on the conditions in Florida. Because not only are you dealing now with, the normal Florida conditions, which is hurricanes, water, wind, rain, sun, humidity, right? You get the fun X factor, the ball, right? The ball. It shouldn't be an X factor, but we all know it was this year, right? The Dudley ball. I don't care what Dudley ball it was. The problem was inconsistency. We all know that. That's a Dudley issue. I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of time and effort spent in the offseason to correct this issue so that whether it's a Pro-Am or a stadium, that it does what it's supposed to do. That's all we ask for. So, I do it. It's interesting. The major scores were obviously way down this year. There were some crazy ones, 4-3, 6-5, stuff like that. And then there was an instant classic. Who watched that instant classic between Rismondo and Smash It Sports at 8 a.m. on Saturday? It's so funny. I was laughing about that as someone that got to play a million 8 a.m. games last year, that finally Smash It and Rismondo get to play an 8 a.m. game. And what happens? It's like an epic classic. So maybe they should always get an 8 a.m. game. Give them an 8 a.m. game every tournament. That sounds fun. But that was a classic, and you got to feel for Patrick Ellwinger on that last play. God bless him. Watching that play was literally the agony of defeat, the joy of victory in one sequence. It was just crazy. For those that don't know, there was, I think there was 2 on, 2 out, down by 1, Smash It, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Buddy Wolf, lefty up, puts it up. Patrick Ellwinger goes back, almost makes an unbelievable play, leaping the wall to bring back the home run, and it was going over for sure. And unfortunately, his glove got stuck with the ball and went over. And it ended up being a walk-off, and it was just crazy moment there in softball, and crazy one for everyone involved. I felt, watching that, I was happy for Smash It. I felt bad for his mom. I felt terrible for Patrick Ellwinger. I mean, just the whole thing. There was a lot going on. But to me, the Major World Series was fun to watch. I think finding that middle ground, though. The 4-3, 6-5, I don't think people really like those. Even though they're going to get some great defense and things like that, watching, 60 flyouts isn't the world's most fun thing. But I'd also say I don't really like, personally, this is my opinion, I don't also like the home run derby fun fest that the major is sometimes as well, where it's just home run or nothing. So the scores are in the 40s or something like that, or, a team hits 25 home runs in a game, whatever. I kind of like that middle ground where we're not at 6-5, we're not at 41-40. We're somewhere in that middle so that you get to showcase the entire game. You get to showcase home runs. You get to showcase defense. You get to showcase speed. You get to showcase being able to hit gaps and corner and lines and holes and things like that as well. So I think finding that now, what does that mean? Is that the ball? Is that this or that? I don't know. Is it the bats? We'll leave it for another day for how that gets there. But I think finding that middle ground, I think a lot of people would enjoy playing and watching that type of game. The ones that are that more competitive middle ground. Yes, you can hit home runs. No, not everything goes out. Yes, you have to have good defense and good pitching to win as well. It's not just, hey, we've got a bunch of bombers and we're just going to blow it out every single time and hope that we blow out a few more than the other team. So that's my opinion on it. I'd be curious to hear what you guys say, but I got to say, a lot of fun to watch. I thought the production was great. Bernie and the USSSA team did a great job. I mean, that's a big production to put on where you're just going game after game after game after game after game. Different lineups, different things, different changes. So I thought they did a great job with that. And I thought the play-by-play and the commentators did a good job as well. But I'll probably be in that booth a little bit next year. So that's kind of my take on the major. So let's get to the Q&A part of this. Reminder, again, we're going to wrap with Q&A. Got some things to talk about, sponsorship, stuff like that as well. If you have a question, fire it in there. Do our best to answer it here. Reminders, of course, puresportstech.com/pure for the cure. Also, sitemansoftball.com/podcast. A couple places that you can spot. I'm actually getting a call right now from the one, the only, the Chris Osborne, which I would love to take and put on live on here, but I don't know what it's about, so I'll call him back in a second. So, Chris, if you're watching, give me the end of the podcast. I'll give you a call. I promise. Okay? I promise. We'll give you a call right on back. What's he going to tell me? I don't know. What is Chris going to tell me? I have no idea. We're going to find out soon. Anywho, a couple things. Was in the DMs the other day and got some messages, and I've gotten this message a lot, is people asking, sponsorship related questions, meaning how do I get sponsors for my slow pitch softball team, right? So I want to break this down a little bit, talk a little bit about this. So first of all, there's a lot of things that this is dependent on, but I want to explain a couple up front. Number one is you got to get your butt organized. And a lot of slow pitch softball teams are not organized. I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about pure organizational things. What tournaments you're playing in, how your organization works, communication, like having a plan, right? You can also easily create a website, right? You can easily create a website if that's something that you're interested in. Actually, I am an investor in a company called Nerdly, NRDLY. If you want to create a very inexpensive website that looks great, this is how I built SitemanSoftball.com. On this, you don't need any programming skills. You don't need any design skills. It's actually very difficult to mess up, believe it or not. So check out nerdly.com. There's a free trial there. Give that a whirl. You can make yourself more professional in a hurry. Have a website, right? Put things up like that. Maybe have a Facebook group as well. So get that exposure going for your team and get yourself organized. That's the first thing, okay? The second thing you got to understand, this is very important. Dramatic sip of water because it's so important, right? I want you to think about this, okay? You have to think about why someone would want to sponsor a slow pitch softball team or organization, okay? And there's two factors that are going to go into it, okay? Number one, the most likely scenario, period, with this is not going to be someone that you cold call or email or randomly slide into the DMs or show up with smoke signals. Okay, I don't know what that is. Is that smoke signals? It's going to be someone that is personally connected to the team with a business. That's the first place I look. And I'll explain why here in a second. So the first place, it's someone's brother, someone's uncle, someone's business, someone's dad, someone's mom, someone's aunt, someone's grandma, someone's dog that owns a business or has access to a, advertising or marketing budget for said business that is related to the team. Now, why? Well, for most part, okay, and I don't want to toot our horn on this, but you can take it as you will, right? For the most part, to get a really significant ROI on kind of a sponsorship or advertisement, whatever you want to call it, with a slow pitch softball team, for the most part, it's not going to be there unless you have a giant online media presence, right? So if you're a media company / softball team, that's a good thing. If you're a softball team, you're more going to try to get people to sponsor out of the goodness of their heart, right? Get some exposure out there, get the words out, but you're not going to be bringing in the big bucks from a random company that's going to say, hey, this is great. This is exactly where we want to put in all our dollars. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to, that's the thing to think about. You want to find that personal connection. I'm talking about, this is for 99% of softball teams, right? As you get up, it's a little bit different. I think this year you'll probably see some advertisers and sponsors on this podcast that you might not expect, some big companies this year, right? That's because it's a combination of media and softball, right? But for the most part, people that are going to sponsor softball are going to have a very personal connection to that specific team and want to help out, okay? What this doesn't mean is just messaging people. Do you know what I mean? I get 20 messages a week from someone wanting to sponsor their team with no rhyme or reason or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? To do so. And you have to be a little bit more strategic than that if you're trying to figure out sponsorship. So that's just my tip. So again, get yourself organized and start looking at who's connected to the team that really wants to help out. Okay. So that's the word I would talk about that for sponsorships. I did see some questions on here about budgeting and things like that. I won't get into extreme detail. To me, at the conference level, I've gotten questions about this as well. It depends on what kind of organization you're going to run, right? And I'm not saying there's a lot of ways to do it. A lot of teams that unfortunately don't have a lot of longevity doing this, but they can scrape it together for a bit. is what I'd call, the bare minimum, which is things like paying for jerseys. I would hope hotels. But teams can try to get away sometimes with the bare minimum, which would be a conference fee and then minimal travel expenses, whatever you want to put as minimal travel expenses, right? Will you be able to recruit really good talent outside a friend group for that? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Can you scrape through for a season? Maybe, right? So you can start with that bare minimum, and then it goes from there, right? What else is provided for players? Are you providing gear? Are you providing bats? Are you providing plane tickets? Are you providing hotels? How many nights in a hotel? How many people to a hotel room? Is it going to be a clown car with 196 people jammed into one hotel room for one night and then, sleeping in the cars the next night, right? Or are you going to, try to elevate it and do extra things to your players, right? Then are you dealing with things like I said, gear, other things like that as well, travel expenses, hotel expenses, gate fees, which are a pain in the butt, gate fees. I'd rather they just charge me more than deal with the gate fee things. And then I think it's how well do you want to take care of your guys? Do you just do the minimum, or do you try to, show your appreciation and show your organization in better ways? Are you taking guys out for food, for example? Are you covering meals? Other surprises? Is there some teams have financial incentives? There's a variety of different things that go into there. So it's very difficult to say what someone's budget would be. Another factor, where's all your players? Are they all in the same spot? Are they spread out around the country? We used to have guys all in one spot. Now we're more spread out, right? So you got to be thinking about that. What schedule are you playing? Are you flying all over the place? A lot of those West Coast teams, especially last year, not a lot of driving on the West Coast. They're flying, they're going this, they're going that, taking spaceships, whatever they're doing. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. So it's very hard to say, well, this is how much money you should spend on a B team or an A team or a double A team or a major team. Now, I know a variety of different financial setups that teams have at the double A and major level, and a variety of different ways that they do things. And, there's different incentives and ways that they work as you move up. But that just kind of gives you, a little bit of things to think about as building a team. And, the better that you can run your organization, the better you can do things, the better players you'll get, the more fun you'll have. And, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with the ups and downs of a season as well. Right. So that's just something to think about. Chris was saying, I drove to 2 this year. We had a handful of guys that did not drive to a single event. Yeah, that's rough, Chris, for sure. It's tough. Misty's asking, what do you think the most money should go towards? What should be a top priority? This is the conference level, Misty. Travel. That'd be a top priority. Travel includes hotels, airline, gas money. I think that's your priority, is getting everybody there as comfortable as possible. That's where I put it towards. That being said, you also want to have a certain look. You're going to have gear. You're going to have, you can't have nice hotel rooms and go out there in your underwear, right? So you got to have nice gear and other things like that. But I think in terms of taking care of players, travel is very important. And I think just finding ways that you can, go the extra mile here and there for guys, and always be one to, in my opinion, under promise, over deliver, because unfortunately something that's tainted the sport, and not just this sport, a lot of other things as well in life, it's not unique to slow pitch softball, right, is the old over promise. And this is a classic case that's going on, I'm sure, all over right now. I don't have any specifics, but I'm saying other teams, people promising teams the world, people promising, you get a masseuse and, we're going to fly you on your own private helicopter as long as you sign on with us, that kind of thing, right? And, or, hey, we're going to do, 2 guys, 3 guys or something in a hotel room. You show up, there's no hotel rooms or something, right? You got to be careful with that, because your reputation can get destroyed very quickly, and you never want to be known as the person that, overpromises and under-delivers. And I think that's something that it's a good lesson for general in life with that. Not just goes beyond softball, with that kind of overpromise, underdeliver thing. So I think when you're putting something together, you want to put the plan in place, and just make sure that you're not overpromising something that's outside the realm of possibility for you. And I think also, on the non-money side, I think, again, a big focus besides talent level is chemistry and team-oriented people. That's something that's come up a lot. It's like, hey, would you take this guy or something? I don't have anyone in mind, just random person. Take this guy, but he's a huge pain in the butt and is a terrible teammate and blah, blah, blah. And, you never know, but he's really good at hitting and defense. Do you want him? My answer, no. Do not. Do you know what I mean? So there's got to be, when you put a team together, there's got to be that chemistry and team-oriented person that I know that we want. Doesn't mean everyone's got the same personality. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be disagreements. But that's something that's very important to Siteman softball. I can tell you that, my friends. All right, so I think I've talked for 41 minutes without taking possibly one breath. It's a miracle that I'm alive, but we're gonna wrap up the show here. This was episode number 52, the 1-year anniversary of the Siteman Softball Podcast. Whether this is the first show you've tuned into, whether it's the 52nd or somewhere in between, I appreciate everyone's support. It's a lot of fun doing this, and we're just gonna keep up this party. What to expect here in the next few weeks on the show, we're going to be going into a lot of interviews. We're booking some out right now. There's some people that, some interesting personalities and people in the softball industry. We're going to be getting on here, doing some fun interviews. Might even try one live. We'll see. I just have the risk of someone's, phone or God knows what going out in the middle of it. We'll figure that out in the future. All right, my friends, be good. Talk soon. See ya.